production function is the transformation of input into output. I'll give a technological relationship between the quantity of physical input and output is called the production function. Now, let's today we start about the topic on cost. What do you mean by cost, Karna? So, we know that process of function in which the inputs is converted into the output and transform the input into output is called the production. For production process, we have here some costs. We have a cost which is the cost is very essential element of in our subject, and it is very essential for any production process. In economics, we can say that nothing is free. In in economics, we can also discuss about that nothing free we get from anywhere, and there is some cost exists in everything you can gain from any source. You have a you have here a cost. Nothing free in this economy or in this world. कोई भी चीज जो है हमारे वर्ल्ड के अंदर वो फ्री नहीं है बल्कि we have a bear some cost. So today we discuss about the cost curve. What do you mean by cost function and how we can discuss the cost and what are the main type of costs bear in production process. Let's start our lecture with the introduction. What do you mean by cost? Basically, the cost mean the amount spent on use of factor and non-factor inputs are called the cost of production. Basically, we can say that the any amount we have spent on the use of factor and non-factor input. Like we know that there are four factor of production. One is the land, labor, and capital. Capital mean K and organization. So all these factors bear some type of cost. Like if uh, we make a production process and we want to start a production of any uh, uh, commodity or good, so we have a four inputs in production process. One is the land, second one N mean labor, K capital, and O organization. In all these production process, we have bear some cost like for getting the land, we have pay a rent on the land. This is the cost of land. Second one is the labor. If we hire a labor for production process, we we bear a cost in the shape of wages and salaries. If we took a loan from the bank for our production process, which is called the capital, the amount which is spent to change the investment is called change the capital stock is called the investment. For investment purpose, we getting a loan from the bank or our saving, we convert the saving into the investment. This is called the capital stock, and we bear a cost on the capital is rate of interest and organization and so on. So basically, students, the amount of spent in use of factors and non-factor inputs are called the cost of production. So here we can see that though this type of amount which is on spent on upon the factor of production, like factor of production we have discussed, there are four factors. One is the land, labor, and capital and organization, and we bear some cost on land like a rent, labor wage rate, capital mean rate of interest, and organization. So in these type of process, this is called the factor cost, and non-factor cost like we have here uh, we pay our taxes, rebates, and this type of cost is called the non-factor cost. And these two factor cost and non-factor cost combined together. Uh, so this function, the cost of y is the function of c. Y is the function of c. This is called the Cost of production function. Cost of production function. In cost of production, we can say C is the function of L, land, and labor, capital, and organization. This is called the cost of production. So, the cost function means the relationship between the output and the cost is called cost function. The cost function are derived from function. These are derived from the production function. Enable the firm to determine the profit maximization or loss minimization output. And the firm will decide whether the profit it is profitable for to continue the production, aid to estimate the profit. So here we can say that the cost of production function, cost function means the relationship between the output and cost. Okay, output mean y is the function of C. So C. So there is negative relationship between the cost and production function. If we increase our cost, so cost input cost increase, our output is decreased because our output goes toward the expensive and expensive due to the input factor like land, labor, capital, and organization. These are the inputs and factor of production which cost if we increase the rent which is taken on the land, increase the labor wage rate or capital interest rate. So our input cost, input price increase, which if input price is increased, so input price increase, which increase the cost of production. If the cost of production function is increased, our our output is so much expensive and expensive. So that's why we make output less and less because the cost and output is negative relationship between one another. This is called the cost function. Understand? Now we start the concept of cost. Concept of cost and type of cost. First of all, we can see that the money cost. What do you mean by money cost? The amount spent in terms of money for the production of commodity is called the money cost. Those amount which is spent on the production process in to making a different goods have we are called the money cost. Like include the expense. Following expense is money cost. Wages paid to the labor, interest on loan, rent paid for premises, expenditure on raw materials and machinery, insurance, taxes, and the payment for the power line, these transportation charges, these costs is called the money cost. Here, student, we in last slide we have discussed about the what is meant by cost of production, cost function. So the relationship between the output and cost function is right. Here, factor cost and non-factor cost. Factor cost means in next slide, we can see that the cost on wage rate on labor, the cost on interest rate on loan, rent for land. This is called the factor cost. And other than these factor costs like expenditure on raw material, machinery, insurance, taxes, and these are all the costs in the shape of money cost, which is called the non-factor. The combination of factor cost and non-factor cost. If we combine with these two costs, we get our output. This is called the production cost of production and cost of production function. Now, move to another slide. What do you mean by real cost? The mental and physical effort or sacrifice undergone with view to producing the commodity, it is called the real cost. Concept of real cost is subject to concept of change from person to person. A person, one is the nominal cost and second one, there are two type of cost in monetary shape. One is the nominal cost and second one is the real cost. If we discussed about the nominal cost or money cost, which is cost, which is we calculate the cost and in shape of money. Here we discuss about the real cost. Real cost means the cost of mental and physical effort. A person uh, who who is starting his business and he face a cost like giving a time to his business. He give a time to his business. Basically, this is his mental approach as well as he is physically appear in this business. This is called basically real cost. Real cost means the time value of any person. A person who is giving a time to his business as well as physically, a person is physically as well as mentally present in his business. This is called the real cost, and this is basic cost. The person giving ideas, new and new ideas for his business, how to promote his business for long time span or long period of time, which give him a maximum output or profit. Basically, this is called the real cost. So last time we can discuss last slide that money cost, which is called the nominal cost. The cost which is we measure in the shape of monetary value. This is called the nominal cost. But real cost basically the opportunity cost and the cost which is a person present in his business with the mental approach as well as the physical approach is called the real cost. The opportunity cost means the best alternative for gone. If a person opportunity cost means opportunity cost. A person who is best use of alternative. A person if he is running a business like he is completely giving a time to his business. But if on another end, if he goes toward another side of the business and he hire a one CEO for his business, and he give a money like a amount of 1,50,000 to his CEO. So this is the opportunity cost of any person. Like opportunity cost is the concept. Student, you are studying in Alama Iqbal Open University, and today the your opportunity cost means if you giving a 2 hours to the education, it means that if you these 2 hours spent on any job, any nature of job, and you get a money from this job, short term job, but you are giving a time to education, it means that your opportunity cost is getting a education and you forgone the short term job which gives you $100 or $200. Basically, this is called the opportunity cost. So real cost means the opportunity cost. If a person who are not giving a physically and mentally time to the business, and hire one CEO or chartered accountant for his business, and he give to the CEO or chartered accountant 1,50,000. This is 1,50,000 is opportunity cost of any person who give a mental and physical effort to his business is called the real cost. So here we discuss about the two concepts. One is the monetary cost, and second one yani money cost, and second one is the real cost. Money cost in the shape of, we bear a cost in the shape of money, which is called the money cost. And real cost mean a person mentally or physically appear in his business, and he is not giving any remuneration from the business, and he give a time to business is called the real cost. Understand? If you have any problem, you have a problem, you will discuss with me, and I will give you answer. Okay. Now move to another cost. We can say that accounting or business cost. There are two type of cost exist in our economics. One is the accounting cost or business cost, and second one is the economic cost. Here we discuss the accounting cost or business cost. Accounting cost is referred to cost payment, which is firm make a factor like land, labor capital, and non-factor like advertisement, depreciation, and other things. So here we in accounting cost we only discuss the explicit cost. Explicit cost, no, implicit. In accounting cost, we only discuss with the implicit cost. Accounting cost refer to the cash payment, which is the firm make a factor like cost on land, which is rent, cost on labor, wage rate, cost on capital, interest rate, and non-factor cost like advertisement and electricity cost and taxes and so on. This cost, this is purely monetary term cost. This is called the accounting cost or business cost. In accounting, we only discuss about the cost which is physically in the shape of money, like a land, labor, and capital. In land, we bear a cost on rent, and labor we bear a cost on wage rate and capital interest rate. This is basically called the accounting cost. Now, the second is the opportunity cost. What do you mean by opportunity cost? The cost of next best alternative use is called the opportunity cost of any activity, measured in the term of value of next best alternative for one that is used. Students, I have already discussed about the opportunity cost. This is also a real cost. Like you are studying in Allama Iqbal Open University and you give a 2 hours to mind lecture, and if you don't choose the Allama Iqbal Open University, you spend these 2 hours on your working area, and you get a $50 or $100. This is the to getting the education is opportunity cost for working. So this is your opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is mean the best alternative use the opportunity in the cost of activity measure in the term of value of next alternative that you can gain. This is called the opportunity cost. Here we also discuss the accounting cost. Now, accounting cost in which we have a physical accounting like land, labor, capital, and physical inputs which are utilized, and we pay a cost on these factor of production. This is called the basically accounting cost. And in businessman or accountant only capture the accounting cost in the physical yeah monetary cost. But if this is called the explicit cost now. But in economics we not only discuss the accounting cost, we have a economic cost, which is we discuss include the explicit and implicit cost. Your explicit cost is this accounting cost like land, labor, capital, and we bear a cost on land is called the rent, and labor is wage rate, and capital is rate of interest. This is the explicit cost. And second one is the implicit cost, which is called the opportunity cost. If we add explicit cost, explicit cost, which is accounting cost, we can say that the pay rent on land and interest rate on capital plus implicit cost. Implicit mean opportunity cost, which we get economic cost. After that, we add up the explicit cost like a accounting cost plus implicit cost, which is called the opportunity cost. If explicit cost and implicit cost, we add up these two costs, we get a economic cost. Okay, understand? Economic cost basically the cost which is the combination of explicit as well as implicit is called the economic cost. Here we discuss about the economic cost. Economic cost includes both the accounting cost and opportunity cost. Accounting cost mean explicit cost and opportunity cost mean implicit cost. Over implicit cost and explicit cost add up together, we get a economic cost. So here we can discuss about that. The economic cost is include both the accounting cost and opportunity cost of the on self unearned and self-employed resources. Economic cost differ from accounting cost because it is include the opportunity cost. So student, I have already discussed with you that opportunity cost means best use of alternative. I want to say about that. If a businessman who is doing a business, he has a two option. One option is that he is giving a all time to his business, and second option is he is doing another thing during these working hours. So if he doing other things during working hours like a marketing of business and so other seminar, he join a seminars and so on. So hire a one person like a one manager and other chartered accountant who look after his business. So this is the opportunity cost of any person that he give a 1,50,000 to another person for look after his, their business. So this is called the opportunity cost. Like for example, if attending the college has direct cost of 20,000 a year for 4 years, the, the lost wages from not working during the period is equal to 25,000. A person like you attend the classes of mine and you directly you bear a cost of 20,000 for your tuition fees and 25,000 you are not working for 2 days and you lost to 25,000 a year. The total economic cost of going to college will be 80,000. 20 multiplied by 4 year plus interest 20 multiplied by 4. It means that it is the accounting cost of attending the college include the tuition, rooms, boards, books, and other the opportunity cost of colleges include the salary and wages that otherwise could be earned during the period. So here you can see that accounting cost is only you you are accounting student and you only consider the cost of accounting cost like a cost of tuition fees, cost of books, and cost of books, food, and extra. This is your accounting cost. But we are economists and we include the cost of accounting cost plus opportunity cost. Opportunity cost, student, is that cost which forgone you for getting the classes in Alama Iqbal Open University. If you spend these two working hours in a part-time job, you get money from 25,000, but you are not working a job during these hours and you are getting a education. You have faced two type of costs. One is the accounting cost, which is you pay a tuition fees and books and food, and second one, you bear a opportunity cost which you earn money from elsewhere. So these two costs, if we add up these two costs, we get a economic cost. Understand? Clear, student? Okay. Student, the month of Ramadan, and it is very difficult for giving delivering a lecture because you know that 2 hours is so much great time spent. But I will trying my best to deliver my lecture very efficiently and effectively that you can understand these terminologies in proper way. So next, social cost. Social cost means social cost is the total cost to society for economic activity, pollution, and more on the laundry, health, and medical treatment. So social cost, we have discussed about the cost. What do you mean by cost? What is mean by accounting cost, and what is mean by opportunity cost? Then afterward, we discuss the economic cost. Here, the social cost. Social cost mean a cost which is bear whole whole over family members or whole over society which is bear the cost. This is called the social cost. And social cost means that the cost bear from entire society of the any country or world is called the social cost. Like a cost bear when a person who open a business and he make a factory and the factory pollute the environment like pollution, air pollution, the noise, and we can see that water and soil pollution. These all type of pollution which is come from industry to we can say that this is absorbed in the sink. Sink means the land and the environment or clean environment which took pollution from factory to absorb in his sink. This is called this type of cost is called the pollution or social cost. A social cost, a cost which is bear whole over the society of the any of the world or the country by and for, by economic activities spend more and more on the health and other medical treatment. This type of issue created by this type of cost, this is called the social cost. We know that this is called the social cost. One is we can say that there are two type of caste in society. As one is the private caste, and second one is the social caste. A social caste is a caste which is beer society due to economic activities. By private caste is the cost incurred by individual from the producing the commodities. It include both explicit cost and implicit cost. We have already discussed about that explicit and implicit cost. Explicit like accounting cost and implicit like opportunity cost. These two costs, which is bear one individual for making a firms or doing a business. This type of cost bear only one individual. This is called the private cost. If the due to economic activity, the cost bear whole the society like a pollution. This is called the social cost. Okay, let's move to another one, another slide. This is called the private cost. So the explicit costs, the monetary payment which make a firm make those oversights whose supply of labor, services, material, fuel, and transportation, absolute cost or outlay cost of the actual cost. This is called the explicit cost. We have already discussed about in detail explicit cost, and the implicit cost is many inputs like a self-owned or self-employed by a firm. The firm does not have to make a payment for them to anyone. It give up the opportunity to receive the payment from someone else to whom it could be built. So I have already discussed about that the honor of any firms who are doing who are look after their business in on way. In simply we can say that this is called the implicit cost. If we add up the implicit cost and explicit cost, we can get a economic cost. So in incremental or sunk cost. Dear student, this is very common concept in sunk cost. Sunk cost means that cost which is not renewable cost. Like you make a road and you make a road and this road due to you spend a charcoal on the road and charcoal is not recoverable cost, and this is called the sunk cost. We can say that the incremental cost or sunk cost are added cost at the change in the level of production by adding the new production machinery or system. Some cost is those costs which are not once incurred and which not be altered by change in the business activity. Cost incurred in the construction of factory. So this type of cost which is not recoverable, this is called the sunk cost. Like I want to explain with you that you are a businessman or a person who make a road for his factory and for the road purpose he make a one option is that he make a concreted road and other one is carpeted road. So in carpeted road or concrete road the concrete and carpet is not recoverable because if he want to shift the factory from this area to another one, so he not recover this type of expense which he bear in this sunk cost type. This is called the sunk cost or not recoverable cost. Historical cost and replacement cost, a cost which is replaced from one place to another. Like you make a plant or machinery in one area, and if you shift this plant and machinery from another one, so you can also replace these costs by you sell these plants or move the plants from one place to another one. Is the type of cost assets purchased in a past and then prevailing price. Replace the cost is defined as cost to incur for replacing the some assets at current level. So you can replace these assets for another asset. One is called the replacement cost or historical cost. Okay. Theory of cost. There are two types of theory we can discuss here. The one is the tradition theory and other is the modern theory. In tradition theory, we discussed about the short run cost and short run cost, which is consists the total cost, and total cost is total fixed cost and total variable cost. And average cost is average fixed cost and average variable cost and marginal cost. Marginal cost means rate of change of cost per unit output. So the long run cost is called the long run total cost, long run average, and long run marginal cost. So modern theory is only discuss about the two type of cost. One is the short run cost and other one is the long run cost. Here we discuss about one by one in briefly. Short run cost. In the short run cost, the firm cannot change or modify the fixed factor like plant, equipment, scale of organization. In short run, the output can't be increased or decreased by changing the variable input like labor. In short run, we can say that a cost in which at least one factor cost of production is fixed. This is called the short run cost. And short run cost like the over plant equipment and the scale of organization can't be changed in short run, yet they can be changed in the long run process. This is this type of cost is called the short run cost. And short run cost is the cost the firm cannot change or modify the factor of production like plant equipment. If a person or if a firm would make a will bear a cost in short run and like one before 1 year, he can't be changed the plant equipment and other because he bear many type of costs in short run like a sunk cost, like equipment cost, factory cost, and these type of costs. A firm cannot be variable with respect to time, varied with respect to time because he already bear large number of costs in this process. And if he want to alter or change these costs, he can't be do that because he suffer a large lot of cost and be bear in this short run, but he can't get a benefit or profit in short run because the firm only bear a cost in short run. Like a person who make a new shop and वो दुकान बनाना चाहता है और he have a bear a large number of costs. He make a he purchase a carpet for his shop and he also fitting the electricity like table and showcase, and these all type of costs which are combined together, and he have a bear a large number of costs in short run, but he don't have any input output from this business because in short run he only and only bear a cost. This is called the short run cost. In short run cost, we can say that the firm cannot be changed or modified the factors such as plant equipment not be changed. This is called the short run cost. So here we can say that in short run we have a total cost. The total cost is sum of fixed and total variable cost. Two type of cost exist in a short run total cost. One is the variable cost and other one is the fixed cost. If we add up these two costs, we can say that total cost. So here is TC is equal to TFC, TFC plus TVC. TFC means total fixed cost. A person fix a machinery, plants, and this is called the total fixed cost. And a person hire a labor for settlement or for fixation of this plant. He give a uh, uh, salary or wage rate daily to the labor. This is called the variable cost. And if we add up the total fixed and total variable cost, we can get a total cost. Total fixed cost or cost does not vary with the output. This type of cost, which is not vary with the output, is called the total fixed cost, like cost on labor and cost on capital, cost on machinery, cost on machinery and equipment, which are fixed and not vary with respect to output. This is called the fixed cost. And variable cost that vary with the rate of production, like cost bear on the labor. We hire a labor and we giving a salary, and we only give a salary to the worker or the labor if they produce something for our fund. So this is called the variable cost. In short run, we can say that the total cost is consist of the total fixed cost and total variable cost. This is called the short run cost of the fund. In short run cost to the firm, the average total cost mean the total cost divided by output. If we divided the total cost mean total fixed plus total variable. If we add up these two component, we get a total cost. If we divide the total cost with output, the output which is we generate, we get from the production process. If we divide this total cost with the output which we get during the production process, this is called the average cost. So short run average cost and short run average variable cost. Short run average variable cost means the total variable cost, not a fixed cost. We only include the variable cost divided by total output which we generate from the production process. This is called the short run average variable cost. The total variable cost, a cost bear for hiring a labor or a worker, and they get output from this worker, these workers for this production process. This is called the average variable cost. And third one is the average fixed cost. Average fixed cost means the total fixed cost, the cost bear on the plant, machinery, and fixation land. This is called the total fixed cost and divided by the output which is generated from the entire period of time. This is called the output. And if we divided the total fixed cost with respect to output, we get an average fixed cost. Understand, student? Here you can see the graph, which graph you can here see that uh, this type of graph in which all type of cost available in this graph in this table. And we okay, in this table you can see that uh, you have a different type of cost you bear in this production process. The table shows that the table shows that we have a the table shows that over output. I think you see this table very clearly. Your total output of the day is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. These are your output which are daily we get from production process. If we bear a total fixed cost in this process is fixed cost is 10, 10, 10, 10. It means that if our output are increased from 0 to 11, but our fixed cost is constant, it means that this type of cost we bear is fixed, like we fixation of plant and machinery, and this type of cost we bear only 10, 10, 10 in US dollar. which is not vary with respect to their output. And the third one we can see here the total variable cost. The total variable cost mean the cost which vary with respect to your output. Initially, your output is zero, the total variable cost is zero. If your output is one, the total cost for beer for production of one output pipe, and if total output is 2, UBR 8, and so on up to 46. This is your total variable cost. If total cost, we can add up the total fixed cost and total variable cost, we get a total cost. 0 plus 10 is equal to 10, 10 plus 5 is equal to 15, 8 plus 10 is equal to 18, and 10 plus 10 is equal to 20, and so on, which is last term is 56. This is our total cost. If we discussed about the average fixed cost mean total over total fixed cost divided by total output. Our total fixed cost is 10 and total output is 0. Initially, this is value 0. 10 divided by 1, 10. 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5. This is our average fixed cost. Average fixed cost, you can see here, the initially the average fixed cost is more and more as we start the production from 0 to 11. Our average fixed cost go to decrease and decrease because our average fixed cost is fixed at the rate of 10. If our output is increased, it means we get some revenue from the production process, and our fixed cost is goes to decrease because these costs not vary with respect to output. This cost average fixed cost is decrease and decrease with production process because our output is increased, the factory revenue is increased, so we decline and decline the average fixed cost. Average variable cost means the total variable cost divided by total output. Initially, our output is zero, the average variable cost is zero. Now, the output, if we increase the output from 0 to 5, over total output cost is 5 divided by 1 is equal to 5, and second one is 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4, 10 divided by 3 is equal to 3.33, and 11 divided by 4 is equal to 2.74. As the production increase, at initially our average variable cost go high and then go toward decline and decline at zero point 0.7. When we make output 7, our average variable cost is 2.86. Then after that production process, our average variable cost is increased fast, decrease, and reach at the minimum level, and then increase from 3.12, 3.44, 3 point, because this is why this happened, because we hire extra and extra labor, which is our cost is increased. And one another reason is that due to wear and tear, our factory equipment are declined. That's why our average uh, variable cost is first of all it is declined due to getting a maximum revenue at some extent of point. This is go toward the minimum and then increase because of our sector of production and wear and tear of machinery, which increase our variable cost. Average total cost is called the average fixed cost and average variable cost. We add up these average fixed cost and average variable cost, we get average total cost. So here is the total cost, mean that total cost, average fixed cost, and total cost mean total fixed and total variable cost. This is called the total cost. If we get a marginal cost from this point of view, marginal mean additional rate of change of one unit to another. This is called the यानी current unit minus previous unit, जो हमारे पास additional होगा rate of change of additional, which is called the marginal. If we have a total cost 10, 15, 18, 20, 21, 23, and so the marginal cost of first two total cost number is 15 minus 10 5, 18 minus 15 3, 20 minus 18 2, 21 minus 21 23 minus 21, 2, and so on. First of all, this cost is declined and goes toward the 1, and then it increases gradually. It is called the marginal cost, and marginal cost means the additional cost, mean rate of change of total cost, rate of change of total cost is called the marginal cost, and marginal cost means the additional cost of any commodity. So I think you understand this graph easily, and you do not have feel any problem in this graph. And I will discuss you. I am discussing this graph with briefly. If you have feel any problem in this graph, you may ask me. I will discuss more elaborate way. And if you feel any problem, I will discuss you. I am discussing you again and again. Feel any problem, student? You have feel any problem in this graph?
No, sir, it's okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good. It's okay. Students, we take a little bit break for 5 minutes. Then we again start our lecture from onward. Reason behind that, you also tell me in all of you easily unmute your mic, and you all of you tell me in verbally or chat. I I want to ask you that our total variable cost is start from 0 to upward, but our total cost start from the at the intercept of 10. What is the reason is behind that? Why our total cost started from 10? What is the reason of it? Student, you can't understand this concept that our total cost start from 10 and total variable cost start from 0. What is the logic that our total cost not start from 0 and it start from 10? What is the reason behind of that? Basic, the basic reason, okay, I will explain you. I am explaining you. The basic reason is that you know that total cost is the combination of total fixed plus total variable cost. Total fixed and total variable cost. Total fixed cost we have already 10 and 10, and total variable cost which is started from 10 to above. So we add up with, like, you know that if our total cost is equal to total fixed cost, our total fixed cost is 10 and total variable cost is at the production of one unit, you know that it is 5. So 10 plus 5 15. That's why over at 0, at 0 level, our total cost start from 10, because total cost mean total fixed plus total variable cost. So if our production start Total fixed cost is our constant, but our variable cost is increase and increase and increase. That's why we add up these two costs, we get a total cost. That's why our total cost intercept start from 10. This is the reason behind of that. Okay, let's move to another slide. Now, the cost of production is an example. You know that over average fixed cost, average average fixed cost over average fixed cost is decrease, decline, and decline. At initially, average fixed cost is 10 when our production is 0. When our production start from 1 to 11, our average fixed cost is decline and decline and decline. You know that this fixed cost is almost equal to 10. This is the installation of machinery, equipment, and so on. This is our average fixed cost. Average fixed variable cost, average total cost is also at initially it's high and gradually decrease, decrease, and decrease. This is our average fixed cost. And average variable cost is also, first of all, it is decline and then increase. The marginal cost at initially it it is more after production. Some unit like 4 unit, it average marginal cost is at minimum point and then gradually increase. Marginal cost mean additional cost, change of per unit cost, per unit production की वजह से जो हमारी cost में change आता है, this is called the marginal cost. So here you can get the 2 point. 2 point. One, two condition hold in this scenario. Over marginal cost, marginal cost intersect average variable cost at minimum point. ये minimum point है जहाँ पे margin cost average cost को intersect करती है. Margin cost intersect average cost at minimum point. This is the minimum point of average variable cost. At initially over marginal cost is less as compared to average variable cost, but after that point our marginal cost is more at average variable cost. At initially 2 point marginal cost intersect average variable cost at minimum point. This is our minimum point. And second condition that at initially our marginal cost at before minimum point, marginal cost is less than average variable cost. But after that, after this minimum point, our MC marginal cost MC is greater than average variable cost. These 2 points are very important for profit maximization, which we will discuss in next class. That our profit maximization condition and our markets, there are four type of market. One is the monopoly, oligopoly, monopolistic competition, and perfect competition. We discuss in second class in next class in brief. So here we can see that the relationship between the average and marginal cost. I have already discussed with you at initially our marginal cost is greater than average cost. Marginal cost is less than average cost at that point before the minimum point. After the minimum point, our marginal cost is greater than average variable cost. This is. And second condition is that our marginal cost intersect average variable cost at minimum point. Understand? Okay. You can see here the point when average cost fall, the marginal cost is also fall, but marginal cost is lower than average cost. Last, average cost is also fall and marginal cost is also fall. but marginal cost is lower than average cost. You can see here that marginal cost is this and the average variable cost is this. But marginal cost and average cost both are fall, but marginal cost slightly greater than average cost. Marginal cost far lower than average cost at initially. This is basically point in point one. When average cost is increased, marginal cost is also increased, but marginal cost is higher than average cost. You can see here. After that, average cost is increased, average cost is also increased, marginal cost is also increased, but average cost is marginal cost is higher than average cost. Here, average cost is higher than marginal cost, decrease, but here marginal cost is greater than average variable cost is increase. 2 point. Marginal cost will be cut. The average cost below point is the point of equilibrium or minimum point. So third one, the postulate is that the marginal cost cut average cost at below the point, which is the minimal point. This is the minimal point where the marginal cost curve cut the average cost is this minimal point. This is our minimal point. Okay, understand? These are the 3 points which are very essential and keep your mind that these are the 3 points which is very essential and understandable for you. Understand, student? If you have feel any problem, okay. These are the relationship. Yeah, the question is raised that why the short run average cost is U-shaped. Why the short run average cost is U-shaped. Here the question is rise that why the average variable cost in short run is U-shaped. Intersection of average fixed cost and average variable cost and application of law of variable proportion. Because this is the reason is that this is the application of law of variable proportion. The law of variable proportion says that at initially when the production average cost is very high, when the production process is started our average cost going toward decline because we produce more and more goods and services. After that minimum point, our average variable cost goes toward the increase because we hire a more and more labor which are not beneficial for us, and also and wear and tear of machinery is also one of the reason behind is that our average variable cost is increased. That's why we can say that our average variable cost in short run is U shape. Understand? Now about the long run cost output relationship. Long run cost output relationship. You know that we have already discussed that in short run there are two type of composition which make a total cost. One is the fixed cost and other one is the variable cost. Some of the component are fixed and their cost is also fixed, and some of the component are variable, their cost is variable. In long run cost output relationship, in long run there is no fixed factor of production. All the factor of production is varied in long run because long run and the industrialist is keep in mind that the industrialist is getting a benefit from production of goods and services, and he get a revenue from different entire sources. So that's why he varies all the input because the fixed cost is also going toward the zero and zero because after the production this average you know that average fixed cost is goes toward decline and it's up to zero. तो जब वो जीरो हो जाती है तो यू नो दैट कि यू कंप्लीट योर task, and you have only bear only in long run you have bear only a variable cost. Variable cost is those cost which like you hire a labor for production process and a raw material and purchase the raw material from different entire sectors. This is called the variable cost. In long run, your all the cost is go to all the variable and no fixed cost is exist in the long run process. The long run during which the all inputs are varied. Your land is varied, your labor is varied, your capital is varied because in short run you industrialist purchase a small part of land, but in long run when he get a maximum revenue from production of goods and services, he buy more and more land because the land is flexible for him because he got a lot of money from production process. So in long run all the inputs like land, labor, capital, all the vary and variable in long run like land we say in short run is fixed, but in long run this is variable. Over labor is variable and capital is also variable. In short run, variation in output are possible up to the extent plant size permit. In long run, plant size can be changed, but no employer will do it. Therefore, the concept of long run is only hypothetical. So, we can say that in long run, all the production inputs are varied with respect to time because I already discussed with you that in long run, the industrialist purchase many and many more goods, many more lands and capital. He buy a capital from took a capital from bank because the production process is started and the producer with get a revenue from production of goods and services for sale of these goods and services because he has many choices and optimal choices to get these inputs in very easy way and easy manner. This is called the long run in economics. In long run, it can be defined the minimum cost of producing different level of output in long run. You can here see that the total long run total cost in long run started from zero to uh, you know that in long run your total cost is started from here. Here is your total cost is from total cost started from intercept this intercept total cost, but your total short run total cost start from this intercept and long run this intercept and your short run total cost K2, K1 and total cost of the firm started from here. So in long run, you can see that all the inputs, overall the inputs is varying with respect to time, and this is called the long run cost curve. You see in different outputs in the long run. Here is output is Q1, Q2 and Q3. In Q1, when over short run total cost this and the long run total cost is interact with one another. This is called the point of inflection. This is called the point of point of inflection, where the point of inflection mean a point in which the curve changes behavior. At initially, these curve are increased with increasing rate, but here you can see that this curve goes toward the flash and then increase. This is the called the point of inflection in long run total cost curve. Here you can see here that the long run average cost in if we see that the long run average cost it can be defined as the minimum per unit of cost producing the different output in long run. Minimum it can be defined as the minimum per unit cost of producing the different level of output. Here you can see that we have already discussed that short run average cost is we say that it is U-shaped. Like here you can see that the short run average cost is U-shaped over one average cost, short run average cost, second short run average, third. We have here we can see that we have a one industry where three firms are working. Firm 1 short run average cost, firm 2 short run average cost, firm 3 short run average cost. These firm 1 short run average cost, firm 2, firm 3. This is the individual average cost of the firm, and this is Q1 is the minimum point of average cost, which where we produce a more and more of goods and services at very low cost. After that point, our cost is going toward increase because we here hire a new labor and we hire an labor and capital which is expensive for us, and also wear and tear of industry is also increase the short run average cost. But here in another this B panel we can see that these all short run average cost, these one, this one interact with one another and make a one green curve which is called the long run average cost. And this theorem is called the envelope theorem, if which we can say that the all the short run average costs are tangent with the one long run average cost. This is called the long run average cost. This theorem is called the envelope theorem, and we discussed this theorem in briefly in our economics, where the all the short run average costs are a tangent with one long run average cost at their minimum point. This is called the envelope theorem. इसको उर्दू में खत लिफाफी भी कहते हैं और इंग्लिश में इनवेलप थ्योरम कहते हैं. A point, a theorem says that all the short run average costs, their minimum point intersect with long run average cost. This is called the envelope theorem. This is the minimum point of short run average cost. This is the minimum point, and this is the minimum point. If we draw a tangent from these three minimum points, and we get this type of cost, this is called the long run average cost, LAC. Here you can see that this green line, which cover all the short run average cost at their minimum point, this is called the long run average cost, and this theorem is called the envelope theorem. Understand?
जी sir.
Okay. All the short run average cost and their minimum points tangent with long run average cost curve. This type of theorem in economics is called the envelope theorem. Envelope theorem. Envelope theorem. En in
Envelope
VOLOP.
theorem.
Envelope theorem, where all short run average cost combined together and their minimum point. These are the minimum point of all short run average cost with tangent to long run average cost curve. This is called the envelope theorem, और उर्दू में इसको खत लिफाफी कहते हैं. So the long run marginal cost, we see large number of marginal costs, that short run average cost, short run total cost, short run marginal cost. Here we can see that the long run marginal cost. So the long run marginal cost means rate of change, additional change per unit output. तो उसकी वजह से जो rate of change आता है per unit output में, उसको हम कहते हैं marginal cost. We have discussed early that marginal cost in short run is rate of change of output per unit with respect to rate of change of per unit change. Here we see the long run marginal cost. The change in the long run total cost of producing the goods or services resulting from change the quantity of output. Here is also same formula is here, but here is we discuss on the long run process in last slide. At initial one or two slide we can discuss the short run process. The formula of LMC, long run marginal cost, that is equal to delta TC rate in total cost divided by delta Q, rate of change of quantity. So rate of LTC, rate of change of long run total cost. You can see here that LMC, long run marginal cost, that is equal to rate of total cost. Yani LTC 2 minus LTC C1 divided by Q2 minus Q1. You have already see the graph that if we have a total cost 2, say at initially our total cost is 10 and then our total cost is goes toward the 15. L, L, LTC2 mean 15, LTC1 mean 10, 15 minus 10 divided by Q2. Our production start from 0 to 1, 1 minus 0. So we have a long run total cost mean LTC2 mean 15 and LTC1 mean 10 divided by Q2, sorry, divided by Q2, 2, no, 1 minus 0, because at initially we start with the production 0 and then we increase our production 1, 2, 3 and 4 up to 11. So here we can see that 15 minus 10 is equal to 5 and 1 minus 0 is equal to 1, that is 1. This is our long run marginal cost. Like a short run marginal cost, we also drive the long run marginal cost. Unlike the short run, in which at least one input is fixed, there are no fixed input in the long run. As such, there is only variable cost. This means that long run marginal cost is the result in change in the cost of all the inputs. Total जो cost में change आता है ना all the inputs में, उसकी वजह से जो change आता है, this is called the long run marginal cost. So here we can see that in last diagram you can hear that here is also we have discussed the point that over marginal cost long run, this is over long run average cost and this is over long run marginal cost, which is uh, which uh, which minimum intersect the long run marginal average cost at minimum point. This is long run marginal MC, which intersect the long run average cost at minimum point. Here we can get a maximum output production. After these Q1, before Q1 our cost is going toward decline. This is called the economic of scale. But after that, if we move from Q1 to onward, over average variable cost and marginal cost, long run average cost and marginal cost is going towards the increase. This is this economics of scale, because our cost of production increases and our output is declined as we produce more and more. This is not beneficial for us. This is called the diseconomics of scale, and here is called the economics of scale, because we produce more and more good over cost going toward minimize point. After minimum point, we can say that this is called the diseconomics of scale. So here you can see that we already revised the 3 points here, that when average cost, here average cost fall, average short run average cost. Now we here we can say that when total long run average cost fall, long run marginal cost is fall, but marginal long run marginal cost lower than long run average cost. Here we say that we can check that the average cost also fall and long run marginal cost also fall, but average cost long run marginal cost fall less lower as compared to average cost. At that point, when long run average cost marginal cost, long run marginal cost intersect long run average cost at their minimum point, after that long run marginal cost rise as well as the long run average cost also rise, but the rate of change rise of marginal long run marginal cost is greater than long run average cost. Understand? These three points also apply in long run as well as short run. Here we have discussed about the short run, but in this diagram we discuss about these variable in long run scenario. So why the long run average cost curve is U-shaped, as like we can also discuss in short run. Okay, we our average cost is U-shape. Here is the three type of scale which is impact on the long run average cost. One is the economics of labor economics, technological economics, innovatory. These labor economics mean we hire a labor, we get a maximum output, but at a certain point where the long run average cost is going toward the minimum point. After that minimum point, the average cost increase and increase. So before certain minimum point, we can say that this is the labor economics of scale. Like, but after certain point where we output, we produce a Q1. After behind this point, we can say that this economics of scale because our cost is increase and increase gradually. As like technological economics and innovatories, all this type of economics, the logic is behind is that is why the over long run average cost is going to U shape. Explain the diseconomics of scale. Unwidely management, coordination and communication more of challenges as the firm size is increased. So we know that if we after this point, if we increase after this point, now this point we can say that over economics of scale at point Q, we can say this is our economic of scale. We hire a less labor, which increase our production. Our management is very good. But after that point, we hire a more and more labor. These labor are burden for us because burden for the industry because these labor their output is less than their productivity. Their productivity is less as compared to we give a wage rate to the worker. So cost is increase and increase and increase. So these are the diseconomics of scale due to crowding and less productivity. Here the cost is going to decline because we more and more we produce a more and more product. This is the economics of scale because our cost is going toward the minimum and due to increment higher of one and more labor over number of our cost number of production is increase and increase and our cost is going toward the minimum point. So this is our lecture today about the cost of production and what do you mean by cost and what are the main type of cost long run and short run, and these are all the type of cost we also discuss in this lecture. If you have feel any problem in this lecture, you will discuss me and I will send this lecture to your WhatsApp group, and you these slides are available in your WhatsApp group and you can read this slide in briefly. If you have any question about this lecture, you will ask me. You ask me. I will give you answer about this lecture. And if you feel that there is no question, you are clear, then you also give a comment me about